Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Kara Melendi and today I'm taking a look at the new moon in Scorpio that's happening on November the 7th. And this really is bringing in major new beginnings. A new moon is always that invitation from the universe that you can begin again, no matter where you are in your life, where you are in your manifesting journey. It is that invitation to start again. And because of some of the other shifts that we're seeing surrounding this new moon, like the nodes changing signs, we're seeing Jupiter moving back into its home sign. So this energy of a new beginning is even stronger. It's like it's amplified and really powerful that it's happening with the moon in Scorpio, which is ruled by the planet Pluto, transformation, rising above, that phoenix rising energy. So super powerful. We're going to take a look at that today. If you're joining me, say hi, share this out. I know more and more people seem to be interested in like following these moon cycles and manifesting with the lunar cycles. And it's so cool to even just alone, like looking at the moon phases and how you can harness that energy in your own life. And then astrology takes it to a whole new level where you get to see how the energy of what's happening in the cosmos is actually happening within you as well. And it's, we're all one, we're all connected. So it's not like these changes are just happening outside of us, they're also happening within us. So it's so powerful to get a deeper understanding of what's going on, how to harness that so you can really be that powerful manifester in your life. All right, so let's see who I have joining me. Laura and Yvette, hi goddess, welcome. And Teresa, Laura, hello. Amber's here, hi goddess. Let's see here, scrolling down. Katarzyna, welcome, beautiful. And Michelle, good morning. Oh, I'm happy you caught me live too, Amber. Awesome. So let me know below, what are you manifesting? What are your intentions for this new moon energy? What are you calling in? The new moon is that time where we go within, because anytime it's a new moon, the moon is next to the sun, right? And that's why it looks dark in the sky. It's right next to the sun. So right now we have the moon and Scorpio, or the moon and the sun, both in the sign of Scorpio. And the moon actually is shifting into Scorpio today, preparing for this new moon energy. So it is that time to go within. This is the time to do the reflection process and to really take a look at what I want to create, what I want to manifest, what my intentions are now. And when we take that from just being in our mind or an idea of what we want to create, and we put that out there and we share that with the world, it really builds momentum, especially when we can do that around people and in an environment that's super supportive and just holds that space for us to realize that I can get from wherever I am to wherever I want to be. I set the intention, I lock in the energy, and I know I can manifest, I know I can create that. So first off, let's take a look at what the Scorpio energy is all about. Since the new moon is charging in this energy, it's pulling this energy in. And this is also a reminder as well that regardless of whether you are a Scorpio, I know anytime there's a moon in our sign, right, we're excited and we can feel that more. And it also does mark our lunar return. But for us all, we're pulling in the Scorpio energy right now. And it is a chance to really connect with that. So in addition to the moon and the sun in Scorpio, we have Jupiter there too. And the Scorpio energy is a water sign. It's a fixed water sign. So, and it's a very powerful water sign because out of any of the signs in the zodiac, this energy of Scorpio likes to go deep. It's about going under the surface, getting to the heart of things, and being willing to experience the range of human emotions, being willing to show up fully and experience all that life has to offer. And there is power in that. That's why Scorpio, one of the reasons why it is known to be a very powerful energy. And since it is a fixed sign, it's this motivation to continue no matter what. The fixed signs in the zodiac in the shadow side can be very stubborn, maybe stuck in old ways or old patterns. But the opposite side of that, and where we really want to harness the Scorpio energy, is realizing that the challenges that come up, the obstacles that come up, it doesn't matter because we're pursuing it anyway. And it is that strength and this knowingness that I'm stronger than any obstacle that I face. I'm stronger than any challenge that comes my way. I have the ability to rise above it. And with Scorpio, the rising above it comes from not like ignoring it or pretending that it's not there. It comes from looking at it. It comes from being willing to look at some of the shadow. And when I say the shadow, it's stuff that we have repressed. So it's often like a part of our subconscious mind as well. It can also be like past traumas. It can be like a hurt or pain that in some way we've buried. And Scorpio comes in and it gives us this power to be able to look at that in a way that transforms it. So it's not like we're getting stuck in this place of darkness, or we're getting stuck by looking at some of the limiting beliefs or the subconscious patterns that may be holding us back. It's like we're looking at that from the energy that we're ready to transform it and we're ready to learn from it. And there's so much power in that. And that's the energy we're pulling in and we're harnessing at the new moon. So super, super cool stuff. Definitely this transformation. Hi, Brenda, how are you? Anita, it's midnight where you are. Well, thank you for jumping on. Great to have you. Lori, hi, Lori. Saying, oh yes, deep into the shadows right now, having to transmute so much garbage. Now easy, but I'm moving through it. Yeah. And this really is the energy of, yes, I have moved through it, because I know if you've been following my videos, and probably like you just know in your own life, right? This for the last 12 months where we've had Jupiter in the sign of Scorpio. So even like think back to last October. So October till like today, what are some of the shifts that you've been going through in your life? What is the theme that has emerged? And I know for many of us, because that's what Jupiter in Scorpio does, it has been like the healing and shadow work, and in many ways like major transformations in our life. And for many people, I know this showed up in terms of their relationships, like huge changes in relationships. For other people, it was more of like an internal thing, but really taking a look at like how I'm showing up day to day, how I'm living, what I'm giving my attention to, and what's working and what isn't, like what I really need to shift. So in some way or another, this past 12 months for us all has been like major transformation. And now, like the day after the new moon, so on November the 8th, Jupiter is now getting ready to move into Sagittarius. And I did do a whole other video on that. So if you want to know more about that, you can just like go, it's on my personal page, or it's also uploaded on my YouTube channel too. Some people prefer just to like check it out there. But basically, it's like we are at the end of this process of a lot of the healing and inner transformation we've been doing, and we're now ready to like take that next step. We're ready to like move forward with it. And if we've had the courage and if we've been willing to like do that inner work, to go deeper than just the surface and really look at like, what are my core values? What are some of like the hurt and pain or trauma that I've been carrying that I need to look at, that I need to love, that I need to release and let go of in some way to move forward? And now like this new moon is really like signaling kind of in many ways like the final pieces of that work. And we need to be able to do that. Like the Scorpio energy, the Phoenix rising energy, is that in order to move forward, there's something that I first need to release and let go of. So it's through having that courage to like go through almost like that inner death in a way of like that releasing in order to be born again and in order to rise up again. And this plays out differently for us all, just depending where we are on our journey. Okay, say hi if you're just joining now. Laura's getting back by taking care of me, keeping safe boundaries from chaotic family energies. Yes, boundaries are key, right? That's like ongoing journey for us all. What do boundaries look like in my life? How can I establish that? For sure. Good morning, Beverly and Kate. Oh, it's good to see you here, Goddess. Hi. Gonna scroll up a little. Hi, Chris, how are you? And Jillian, Kelly, hello, hello. if I missed anything up here. Katarzyna saying powerful time. You're a Scorpio rising. Yeah, so powerful time for you for sure. If we know, so this new moon is happening at 15 degrees of Scorpio. So if you know your birth chart and you know where 15 degrees of Scorpio is, that's where you can get deeper insight into the house that it's falling in. And we talk about like the houses in astrology, and basically what that means is like they represent the different areas of our life. So you can take a deeper look at that, or of course I do in-depth readings. So you can reach out if you're like, I don't understand how to read these charts. I want some help on how I can harness this energy. I can absolutely do that for you as well. Okay. So yes, so some of the shadow side of the Scorpio energy that we want to look at as well, because that can be coming up right now, we want to be aware of it, is this need for control. The shadow side of Scorpio is I've got to have everything in order. I've got to have complete control in order for me to feel safe. And that's just not true. Our job isn't to have complete control over everything in our life. Our job is to look at like what I can control and to learn to surrender and to release those things that I can't. So looking at that, another shadow side of the Scorpio is the all or nothing. And I know I fell into this before, right? And this really is a trap that holds us back and can lead to procrastination as well. So, you know, if you're an entrepreneur, this can feel like in order for me to release this program or offer this service or do this video, I have to be perfect. Like I have to have everything aligned perfectly or I can't do it at all, instead of somewhere in between, right? It's like that extreme thinking. And it definitely can just lead to procrastination. So be aware in your life where you may be falling into that trap of like all or nothing. It has to be perfect. It has to be full out, or I might as well not even try at all. And the other shadow of Scorpio can kind of be this sense of manipulation, but that very much falls into control as well. So feeling like I have to have this control in order to be safe. And this can be in our relationships too. So kind of take a look at some of those patterns and how that may show up in your relationships, and then working on releasing that, because even though this is like the new moon energy and it really is signaling new beginnings in a lot of ways. So I talked about like the Jupiter shift that we're seeing, where tomorrow Jupiter is going back into its home sign after 12 years. So that's huge. And that's like another pattern you can look at, is what has that journey been over the last 12 years in your life. And also later today, we're seeing a shift in the nodes. So we're seeing the North Node, which is our life path and like where we're being called toward as a collective. That's moving into the sign of Cancer. So we're seeing a major shift there as well after spending the last 18 months in the sign of Leo. So there's many things besides just the new moon that are suggesting this really is a time of like forward momentum and a time of new beginnings. And at the same time, since it's happening in the Scorpio energy, there still is kind of like this releasing process of, in order for me to now feel like I can fully like go to the next level in my life, or like step into that next aspect of myself, or be a match to what I'm creating, what I want to call in, what do I need to fully release and let go of? And often that is energetically. It's like we fall into these default ways of showing up in terms of our mindset and in terms of our energy. And the Scorpio energy gives us this ability to see a little deeper and to see what ways we're showing up, or what energetic patterns that you may be stuck in that's actually like preventing you from going to that next level. And then of course you release it, right? We notice it and we release it. And it's also trusting that, like, even if we can't pinpoint exactly what it is, just setting that intention that I'm ready to grow, I'm ready to expand, I'm ready to like fully be a match to who I know I am, what I want to call in, what I want to manifest, what I want to create. Often that energy enough, like that energy alone can really shift it. And then it's like consciously making that choice to choose it again and again, like moment to moment. How am I showing up in this moment? Who am I being? Is it a match to what I want to create and what I want to call in? And if not, how can I make the decision in this moment to now shift into a new energetic pattern? And it is like, if we're able to be aware moment to moment and like make those choices moments to moment, that's when our life begins to change as well. So it's a very powerful time in the cosmos for this. Let me know if this is resonating or any questions are coming up around this. Okay, I'm just gonna check in here with any questions. Lori saying she can relate to some of these shadows for sure. Yeah, and you know, when we're aware of it, it's like that gives us the power to let it go, because if it's just the subconscious, like any time in our life where we're not like acknowledging something, or for whatever reason we're not seeing that pattern, we have no control over changing it. And that's often where like we see these patterns in our life repeating, even if it feels like a frustrating pattern. We're like, why can't I let this go? There's something we need to look at within it, and there's probably like some resistance or fear or belief that's like preventing us from fully releasing that pattern. But set the intention that with this Scorpio energy, you're going to have deeper insight than ever before. You're going to know what you need to shift, and you're going to do that from a place of love, right? This isn't from a place of I'm somebody who's broken or I need to be fixed. This is from the energy of I know I can do this. And if I have this desire in my heart for what I want to experience and create, then I can have that. I'm meant to have that. I can be a match for it. So very powerful stuff for sure. All right, Alicia's here. Hi, Goddess, and Esmeralda. Oh, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome, Goddess, and Sarah. Hello, gorgeous Rashid. Thank you for jumping on, and Charlotte. So if you're just joining now, share with me your intentions. What are you creating? What are you calling in with this new moon energy? And today, or maybe if you're watching on the replay, it could actually be the day of the new moon. But as I'm filming this today, the day before the new moon, this really is like when the moon is in the balsamic phase, or what's also known as the dark moon phase. And this is where like intuitive abilities are at its highest. And sometimes it can feel like physically our energy is at the lowest. And that's because it really is like this time to go within and to reflect and to take a look at where I am on my journey and where I want to go. So use this energy today to take that time to go within. And I know that can look different for all of us, right? We all have our own schedules, different things that we're working on. So, you know, it's just being honest with yourself and what you need and what you kind of need to do in terms of your inner work or the energetic work, and be willing to take that time for you, knowing it's worth it and you deserve it. It's always like aligning the energy first. We always need to do that. And if we have the aligned energy, aligned action follows. So we're taking the action steps, but it's not from like a forcing or pushing into place. It's just like the next logical step. And that's what happens when we do the energetic work. It's the next logical thing. So it's like we don't have to force the action because it just makes sense to then take those action steps. So let me know if that resonates, or if you felt that in your life before, when you really like shifted into this place of flow and expansiveness and enjoyment, and like you wanted to take the next action and it would just feel like resistance to not take that action. Sarah is building a new version of my beauty business. Oh, how exciting is that? Beautiful. Love that. Love that. Alicia, I'm excited you caught this too, and you are welcome. Okay, let me see. Any other intentions people want to share? Kate is ready for new beginnings, letting go of things and closing doors. Yeah, it is the energy of that for sure. Okay, so I also mentioned calling in abundance as well. And the reason the financial theme, this continuing as well, is Scorpio is a money sign. So we saw that at the full moon as well, right? And now the new moon too. Scorpio is also one of the other money signs. So it's really good to look at like our financial situation right now, and any resistance that we may have, right, from calling in the wealth or the prosperity that we desire. It's a really good time to set intentions around that too. And just like abundance and prosperity in general, because it really is an energy that we can shift into. And again, it goes back to, it's like a moment to moment choice. What energy am I embodying in this moment? Is it aligned with what I want to create? Does it feel good? Does it feel expansive? Is it in alignment with my higher self? And if not, we can choose again. And in that moment, we can create that shift. So Scorpio energy is really good for that. And we also still have Venus retrograding, and Venus governs our ability to receive. It also governs over our finances as well. And right now it's retrograded back into Libra. So it's back in like its home sign. It feels right at home. Anytime a planet moves into the sign that it like rules over, there's power there, because there's a sense of like comfort, but not in like a lazy sense. It's like a powerful sense. Like the energies just merge together and are very strong. So really good for looking at anything financially, setting intentions around any money goals. Relationship themes are still coming up pretty strongly as well. So just looking at your relationships. And it's not always like we have to let go of a person or leave like a group or a friendship that isn't serving us. Sometimes that is the case, and sometimes we do really have to make that decision. Other times it's more about just looking at how I'm showing up in the relationship. So as much as we want to look at like our capacity to receive the love that we want, receive like the abundance that we desire, equally important is looking at how I'm showing up, right? What I am giving in a relationship. And sometimes as we shift that energy within ourselves, the whole dynamic of a relationship will shift as well automatically by us shifting the energy and choosing to shift how we're showing up. So that's powerful stuff to think of, and that theme with Venus retrograding still is going to be coming into play at the new moon as well. And just depending what's happening in your chart and like what's activated in your chart, some people may be feeling this more than others, and for some people it may be more the focus on like the relationships. For some it's the financial piece. For some it's still like the deep healing and the feeling of like releasing some of those belief systems or patterns or habits that I find myself in that aren't working anymore. But either way, the new moon is supporting and like letting go and fully feeling like we can move forward. Okay. Brenda, I've been living on resistance and really want to feel this shift into graceful action. Beautiful. Yes, I love that. And I think too, what can really help with that is like knowing day to day already when we do shift into that state, because we all have times in our life where it just feels like we've shifted into a place of flow and a place of ease. So it's also like noticing when that happens, affirming that, and then setting the intention that it can be like that more often. Because it's like anything in life, like what we notice, what we give our attention to, what we focus on, that just expands. Michelle, I am really ready to step up into my purpose, ready to begin to create abundance from it. Oh, I love that. Yes. That's what I always like affirm as well, that I can receive abundantly from my soul's work in the world. And Scorpio energy really is about that as well. It's like, I can do what I love. I can do my purpose work, what my soul is here to give, and I can receive abundantly for that too. So it's a beautiful energy for affirming that I can do what I love and I can receive for that. Beverly, raising my vibration to receive what I want and releasing all resistance to receiving by whatever means it arrives. Beautiful. Love it, love it. Okay, let me see if there's any other major shifts here. Yeah, so I didn't really talk about the aspects that the moon is making. It's forming some really beautiful aspects. So the first one is a trine with Neptune in Pisces. So this is more water energy. We have Scorpio is a water sign. We have Pisces being a water sign. So really good for enhancing our intuitive gifts right now. And with Pisces, making this trine over to like Neptune in the sign of Pisces, it's this beautiful transcendence energy that I really love. And that's where I feel like even though Scorpio is like such a deep sign, it's intense, the moon isn't necessarily feeling at home in Scorpio because it's like dig deeper, look deeper, don't run from your emotions, feel into it. There's also like this beautiful energy of shift and transformation through ease that I feel is surrounding this new moon. When I look at like all the aspects combined and some of the other planets and the shifts that are happening, like I do feel there's this lightness and this energy of a shift that is going to be surrounding it and is going to be happening. So yeah, really powerful. Can't remember what it was, some of the aspects. Okay, yes. Like I better take a look at the chart again, refresh my memory. Yeah, so the moon shining over to Neptune, it is like transcendence. It is that energy of rising above and doing that with ease. And in my membership site, the Goddess Sisterhood, I've been encouraging the amazing women in there to do this a lot lately. And this has been a practice that I've done as well, is like connecting to my higher self and asking, what would my higher self do in this situation? How would they see this situation? And basically it helps us like shift out of the stories that we've created, the fear that can come in when we're too tapped into like our ego. It helps us rise above that and like the larger part of ourself, however you want to see it, like whether that's like what your heart knows, your soul, your higher self. It's like tapping into that knowledge and wisdom and being able to channel and pull that in and know the truth. And as you do that, it's easier to release like some of the old patterns or resistance that, or the fear that's just like very much coming from this place of ego or coming from the stories that aren't aligned or aren't serving you anymore. And with this moon trining Neptune, that is a beautiful energy for just being able to see how I can rise above it and how it actually doesn't maybe need to be as difficult as I thought it would be. And also because we're on the other end of that, of now like really moving forward. Rashi, I totally believe that you attract what you feel. If you feel positive energy and positive vibes, that's who and what you'll attract for sure. Yeah, law of attraction. I have so many positive things happening with me now. So awesome. Yeah, it's like what we put out there, we're getting back. And it just works on so many levels because the energy and the frequency that we embody, that in and of itself like attunes us to a similar frequency. But it's also very much related to our thinking process. Like when our thoughts are in a place that's really serving us and very high vibe, our energy is there too. And then the actions that we take are different. And when we take a different set of actions or when we develop a new set of routines, of course shifts happen in our life, right? Like we attract new opportunities and we meet new people. So it's really beautiful how it's all connected. And it's like knowing that, and again, without any kind of blame or guilt, if you are in a place where you feel like you've been kind of down or like you feel like you've attracted some things that make you question, why would I do this? So why would I call this in? It's not about going into a place of blame and guilt about it either, because what I've learned through like working with astrology, and I also do Akashic record readings as well, so I love working in the space of the records. It's also knowing and trusting that there's always like this bigger plan in place as well. And sometimes we don't always see, especially if it's like a difficult or challenging time, we don't always see the bigger purpose because we get too caught up in the story of how it shouldn't be this way or how it's not working, whether that's in a relationship or in a financial situation, right? Just putting that pressure that I should be beyond this, I should be attracting in more, or a relationship, like I should have my soulmate partner by now. It's, you know, it's kind of releasing the stories. And when we cut away like the stories or the beliefs about what it should look like, when we release the judgment around it, that's when we can actually just see the situation for what it is, right? It's like it takes kind of, it shifts the energy, it shifts the resistance just by allowing ourselves to be with it. So don't let go of the blame and guilt around it. All right, say hi if you're just jumping in now. Feel free to share what you're calling in, what you're creating with the new moon energy. Sarah, overcomplicating what is simple. Yeah, we can do, I know I've done that. I should speak for me. I fell into that trap before. Yes, Rita, welcome. Great to have you here for sure. And Rebecca's here. Hello. Lori, thank you for reminding me that I can release the story and judgment. Yes, yes. We can. This was another thing in my membership site. This past Sunday, we did a powerful clearing, EFT clearing around releasing judgment, judgment of ourselves, judgment toward our situation, judgment toward other people. And as we release that, right, we get closer to the sense of freedom. Okay, so another really beautiful aspect that's happening with the moon energy, in addition to that trine with Neptune, the rising above, is a sextile to Pluto. And Pluto is the ruler of this new moon. So this is like transformation in practical ways as well. So now that we have done this inner work, we're connected to like the power of our emotions. It's looking at some of those practical changes that we now need to create, and it's helping us like formulate a plan. So don't feel like you have to like push that into place, right? It's not about that, or that in order to get started you have to know all the steps. No, it's like trusting that it is going to unfold, it is going to come together, and also doing your part to take that action and to take that next step. It's like not falling into the trap of thinking that it has to be perfect or I have to have it all figured out before I take the next step, because it's through taking the action that we get the clarity, and it's through having the courage to take the next step that we realize more information comes in each step of the way. And by putting ourselves out there and like claiming and owning what we want to draw in, what we want to create, that's where the opportunities and people come in and the clarity comes in. So basically, don't be afraid to like take those next steps, even if you feel like you don't completely have the clarity yet of how that's going to look. It's like the action will bring that about. Okay, so welcome if you're just jumping in now. If you like, you can share what you're creating, what you're manifesting in the new moon energy. And yeah, just take that time to go within. And if you would like to book a private reading, I've opened up some more spots again because we're finishing the year in a really powerful place. November, December, it's like astrologically is really, and even if you're not following astrology, although I know if you're watching these videos, you're obviously interested, it really does pave the way for 2019 and some of like the major shifts that are coming up. November, which we're already in, mid-November, huge. December, it's like paving the way for kind of what 2019 is going to look at. So if you want some guidance on how you can really harness that based on how these transits are affecting your chart, you can reach out. I've opened up spots for readings, and it really, like, whether you're brand new to astrology and you want to understand your soul blueprint and how to harness that, or whether you've worked with astrology and you know your chart and you just want some guidance on what's coming up for you for the end of the year and how you really harness that. Because it's, you know, when I look at someone's chart, we can easily see the places and things that are like harmonious. Sometimes we don't even notice our natural gifts and talents because they come so easy to us. So we don't always know how to really like harness that and use that. So I can give guidance on that. And then also in terms of like the challenging aspects, creative ways to kind of rise above that, because it's also through those challenges that we often like gain the strength that we need, or it's like it's paving the way for something that'll come later. Like we don't always know why we're going through that now, but even if you look back on your life to some of the more difficult times, it's in hindsight we can see, oh, this helped make me who I am today, or it helped kind of shape my business or my career, or like my teachings and my message. So it all fits in, it all has a place. Kat's manifesting a new relationship, holding that space for you. Beautiful stuff. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to wrap up for today. Feel free to reach out if this is resonating and you want to take a look at your chart personally. Otherwise, yeah, enjoy this beautiful energy of new beginnings. Sending lots of love and light, and I will see you very soon. Bye.